One DJ says, how did you get your motivation to continue being a YouTuber when your channel reached half the numbers of viewers and subscribers you got? Yo, okay. So you're talking about, I think you're talking about what happened on Kryptonian Saiyan. So, 2018, that's when I lost that channel for 9 months because YouTube had a glitch in their system, which they've since owned up to, but they've essentially nuked that channel, and I'm building that up from the ground up. I'm actually reading Black Clover right now to get caught up on that shit so I can start talking about that and Jujutsu Kaisen over on that channel. It's gonna be basically a variety channel for anime. That's what Kryptonian Saiyan was before. Honestly, man, like, if it wasn't for a deal over there on Anime Balls Deep, man, I was about to give up, man. I swear to God, I was about to give up. A deal talked me through it, and honestly, he said like, hey, take a few weeks off and watch some anime, and I got to watching anime, and he was like, what do you think about this video I did? And like, eventually I just started. I was like, fuck it, we talked about doing a collaboration, let's get this shit in. So once we started spitballing for the collaboration, that's when I got the motivation to just get back out there and do it. And the homie 8th Hokage was the first person to subscribe to the channel. I didn't tell him about it. He just happened to be looking, and he said, bro, it's just you. And just little small things like that, and seeing like the older subscribers, and you got one. I'll never forget this. Like this is the thing. Like, I tell people during that time period, the people that reached out to me that were fellow creators, I'll never forget what any of them said behind the scenes, because it absolutely fucking touches me. To have somebody like Roberto Blake say like, hey man, I thought if you would have focused on Boruto more, you definitely would have blown up as a YouTube channel. And lo and behold, he was fucking right. For him to say like, yeah, I watched your stuff, I think that's what you needed. To have somebody like Super Mecha Frieza reach out behind the scenes and offer words of encouragement and say like, hey, I heard your Kryptonian Saiyan channel went down. I know how you feel about worrying about copyright strikes, and it's scary you can lose your channel. I hate that happened to you, but YouTube tends to work these things out, and I'm rooting for you to get something like that from her, to get stuff from Shino Ben Trill, to get stuff from a deal from Anime Balls Deep, and then once the channel starts picking up, to have somebody like Nux Taku reach out behind the scenes, like to get it from creators that I watch, and to get it from creators that I respect, it meant a lot. But I'm gonna tell you what means the absolute most to me though, is when during that time, one subscriber, Betty, and what she did during that time is she bugged the fuck out of YouTube. Like literally, she bugged the fuck out of YouTube. Like she was like, hey YouTube, I'm having trouble with my streaming service with the music shit, doing the direct messages with them and everything. And she said like, hey, yeah, a channel I like, Kryptonian Saiyan, went down, and he didn't have any community guideline strikes, he had no copyright strikes, he just went down. Is there anything you guys can do? Can you guys look at something? And the YouTube person's response was like, man, I don't know who that is, but if I were them, I would be very flattered that I had such a passionate fan reach out. And honestly, that hit hard to see that, and to get so many messages from subscribers, whether it be on Facebook or, I really gotta get back to checking the Facebook page, but whether it be on Facebook or whether it be people that DM me on Twitter, to get all that support and to read the screenshots of people just bugging the fuck out of YouTube, that right there got me. Like Nahima, the young lady that made paper arts for me with my avatar, to know how much the content helps her, or whether it be Mike Shork, where Mike Shork, who does a podcast, says like, hey man, I really enjoy your content. This is one of those times where, I got a chance to talk to him. I'm like, damn, man, he's cool people. To get the comments where people send me messages and they're like, my parents are going through a divorce, or I'm not gonna say the name on this one. Like literally one person's like, my dad beats me. I'm hurting all the time. I'm scared to go home. But I like listening to your videos because your videos keep me from freaking out. Your videos keep me calm. I never would have thought of some shit like that. Like, I never. If you would have told me back in 2015 that, hey man, your videos are going to help somebody with depression. Your videos are going to help somebody that is disabled. They're going to help somebody who's being beaten by their father. If you would have told me in 2015, I never would have believed it. Like, I never would have believed that at all. I cannot stress that enough, man. Like, this is Jesus, man. I'm so fucking touched by comments like that, man. Like, it's one of those times where I know for me, I don't take this platform lightly. I do my best not to throw pop shots at people. I do my best not to start shit with people. I don't reply to every comment, 'cause that's what got me in trouble with YouTube the first time, but I read every comment and I try not to be super negative. I do trolling, like I troll Hinata, I troll Dinkies, because I've gotten pops out of those fan bases for those characters, and so that's just my way of saying, like, wink wink, nod nod. I'm aware this gets under your skin, so I'm just gonna fuck with you a little bit because I'm a troll by nature. Like, okay, whatever, but I don't ever want to use my platform to tear down a viewer or to be a place of negativity, because it's because of comments like that. It's because of comments like that, man. So this is actually a good laugh though, man, because, you know, like, my eyes are watering right now, because like, when I tell you how much this channel means to me, man, like, knowing that I help people the way it does, that's honestly why I keep uploading as much as I do. You know, it's therapeutic for me, but I also know that it helps other people, especially now with all this stuff going on with COVID, man. Where am I at? Okay, there we are, Alan J. So I'm gonna go to Bernard Curry now. In the manga, how much longer will we have to wait exactly to see what became of Kashi and Koji, and what do you think of his role will be in the post-time skip? So if he's alive, I think he'll play a role. As far as how much longer we gotta wait, so that's the downfall of a monthly manga. Like, literally, like, a monthly manga is like 2.5 chapters of a weekly manga. So like with Naruto's like 16, 17 pages. Boruto is 41 pages. So what would have took Kishimoto 6 weeks to get to will take Boruto a year's worth of chapters to get to. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Or is that right? A half a year, whatever. You guys do the math. I suck at doing math off the top of my head, but you get the point. It's because of the manga's pacing. So honestly, I don't have an answer for how long it's gonna be, but I do think it's gonna be a minute before we see Kashi and Koji again. Let's see. Aaron Ropp says, what area of work is your day job, and are you planning on doing YouTube full time? Thanks for the awesome content. Okay, so what area of work is my day job? I work in government. I work for a politician. I do a lot of verification, like reading documents that come in, verifying whether or not everything meets like the criteria for the stuff for the office, and I do social media for said politician, you know, out of privacy reasons. I'm not gonna say the politician's name, but I work for a politician. Like I said, mostly social media, verification of documents, basically proofreading everything, make sure everything is correct. So I guess like a glorified paper pusher who happens to run Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Okay, let's see, what's the other part? Am I planning on doing YouTube full time? You know, I'm up to my ass in medical debt right now, and I can honestly say if 2021 is as good as 2020 was in terms of how well the channel did, I would put my chances of doing YouTube full time at about 75%. I'm not saying that lightly. Like, this is something I've considered. It's just a matter of getting my medical debt taken care of. Between my job and between the YouTube channel and the side hustles I got going on, I should be able to knock that medical debt down. And I don't want to get into numbers, but it's a pretty significant amount, man. It's a pretty significant amount. Like the student loans are taken care of. Like I've got $15,000 in student loans left. So, student loans are taken care of. So, those will be gone just off of my day job by the end of the year. So I can get the medical debt done. 75%, you guys will be seeing me do this full time, which means that, I'll just be making more. I'll probably be making more in-depth videos over on Kryptonian saying as far as with anime dissections, the way that I used to do arc reviews for certain series. I'd probably do that and just talk about new anime as I get into them. Like if you follow me on Twitter, you know that like 2020 was the first time I got into Death Note, or was it? No, it's 2019 I got into Death Note. And so you would actually see me do a breakdown on the Death Note series, both as I go through the series and then after I finish it. So I would be doing content like that on top of the regular stuff I see there, as well as over here on Naruto Explained. I'd actually have more time to actually write out those videos, like how you saw with the No One Understands Obito video. Like the one I got on the screen right now to do is the video I have on Mamoru Uchiha and the video I have on Itachi Uchiha. Those are videos that I'm scripting simultaneously, but I have to do a little bit at a time. So you would actually see me do more of those videos more often instead of like once every 6 months. And I enjoy doing those videos. So yeah, this is gonna be a long ass Q&A, man. This is gonna be a long ass Q&A. Jesus Christ, I didn't expect to record this much. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't expect to be as long-winded on this one. Let's see. One World Boss. If you were in complete control of Boruto's story, where would you take it after the Kawaki and Boruto fight? For me, so you're talking like after Konoha's blown up, if it was for me and everything is in play exactly how it was, I would have it where when Boruto's saying Kawaki, I didn't think you would go this far. I would have it where Boruto's partially responsible for what happened to Konoha. I would love to have that be a bit of internal struggle for Boruto to overcome. But I think the big thing is that, I feel like Boruto right now needs to go on a journey. Like I feel like he needs to go on a literal journey. Whether it be to borrow something from the hero's journey, whether it be his chase for the elixir, which is basically saying like, hey, Boruto needs to go on this journey to seek out his own greatness or to overcome the supernatural forces. I don't think that the Otsutsuki clan is a strong enough threat. I think that, if you're gonna use them, you gotta properly flesh out that clan. And so I think a good way to actually do that is to maybe have Boruto's Uzumaki bloodline have something to do with the Otsutsuki clan and have their sealing jutsu be a way that's tied into that. I think that Boruto needs to go on a journey, take him out of Konoha. I think that's the best way to help jumpstart this series more. Let's see, Ambiguity says, what if the Uchiha plotted with Obito and Madara for the coup? Or what if the Uchiha left the Hidden Leaf Village to join another village in the Five Great Nations, like the Hidden Village hidden in the clouds? So the Cloud Ninja would welcome them in open arms. Honestly, I've always wondered that, and that's actually a what if that I actually started recording and I stopped. I really need to get back to actually doing that one because I'm about halfway done with that video. What if the Uchiha left Konoha with Madara? That's something like that I'm halfway done with. I just hit a sticking point. I wasn't sure where to actually take one of those characters, and so for the second half of the video, I'm actually gonna have to sit down and write it out because the first half I was doing it unscripted like I did the last couple of what ifs you saw on the channel. Let's see, Yami Here's in X asks, have you ever noticed a trend with each generation squad where one person ends up leaving the squad to do their own thing and then decide to turn over a new leaf? Yeah, actually, yeah, I have kind of noticed that there's a pattern. There's usually somebody that either defects or there's somebody that ends up going on their own individual journey, or they have their own ambitions. And that's part of that thing of like, the new generation is going to mirror the previous generation some kind of way. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I think that's one of those things where you can't overdo it too much. Richard Jones says, what's your favorite summoning jutsu? You know, I love the hawk that Sasuke whipped out when he was fighting against Danzo. And I remember when I first saw that, that's one of those times where I said, holy shit, Sasuke has a hawk summoning. And we never saw that damn thing ever again. And I thought that that was so cool because you got like Taka and Hebi, Itachi had crows. Like, I thought having Sasuke with the hawk summoning would have been really, really cool. Because, I mean, you know, Naruto's got a frog, Sakura's got a slug. It'd have been cool if Sasuke had that hawk and, you know, just kind of show like how Sasuke was just so out of reach for them. Like, it'd have been nice to actually kind of see that right there. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Sasuke having snake summonings. I felt like, I was like, okay, they're going for the whole, these are new generation legendaries shining. Like, get the fuck out of here. That shit was so corny. Three-way deadlock my ass. That's three-way constipation as far as I'm concerned. That's a bunch of shit. Obito Uchiha, could you see the possibility of an Otsutsuki invasion in the future? Possibly in Boruto Shippuden, yeah. I think in Boruto Shippuden or whatever they call it, you know, that's probably going to be what it is. I think that's inevitably endgame, but I'm going to go back to what I said before. If Kishimoto decides to make this a big-ass war, whatever his theme for this upcoming war, it's gonna be interesting. You know, it's the same thing I'm waiting to see. I'm still reading Wano in One Piece, so I'm waiting to see what Oda's theme for this war in Wano is gonna be, because I felt like the war in Marineford, the theme was very strong. So it's gonna be interesting to see in both instances how both these mangaka are able to kind of top their themes from their first ones. DeAndre Carter says, is it crazy to think Sakura might actually be a great Hokage? I think she would be based on all she has witnessed, the amount of mental pressure she had to overcome watching Tsunade as Hokage. You know, it pisses people off, but, you know, Sakura's a Hokage candidate for a reason. And honestly, I think that if anything happened to Naruto, Sakura's more than fit. I think she could be a good Hokage, and I think that the best way you can actually see that is, I know there's a lot of Sakura haters, whatever, but when you look at Sakura, I was very impressed in that Sakura Hida novel. At first I'm like, damn, she's talking about the first time she met Sasuke. This novel's gonna suck. Jesus Christ, why am I reading it? And then I kept reading the novel. Real talk, I actually put the novel aside and read the other novels and came back to the Sakura novel, because that's how tired I got of the Sasuke stuff. And then I read it and I said, oh my God, she's setting up these mental clinics, and it's to help make sure that people don't suffer the same way that Sasuke did when Sasuke was a child. She took her love for Sasuke and she took what she saw, all these people suffering in the aftermath of the Fourth Great Ninja War and being psychologically slammed from experiencing the infinite Tsukuyomi, being in their dream world and then ripped back out and seeing reality. To have those mental health clinics in all of the 5 great nations, stuff like that made me realize that Sakura understands that there's more to being a shinobi than your actual skills. There's a mental aspect of it. There's an emotional aspect that's just as important. So for me, very, very impressed by that. So I think that on that alone, Sakura shows that, you know, if she was Hokage, she would do much like Kakashi did, where she takes the village in a different direction. And I got a big Kakashi video planned on that topic, so I think she'd actually be a good Hokage. I'm actually gonna give you a heart on that one. Tommy asks, do you think Kishi's return to the manga will possibly affect Sarada's character development? No. And the reason why is people are like, oh my God, he sucked writing women. Yep. Don't argue with you there. The women in Naruto, for the most part, sucked. You had a few exceptions, but he sucked writing women. But what I will say is that with Naruto Gaiden, Sarada, she went through a thing, she was a crybaby. Okay, sure, emotional. I'm gonna leave the village. But when you look at Boruto as a series, where has Sarada gotten the most character development from? Pre-Kara actuation and Naruto Gaiden. They ain't did shit with her. What did Kodachi do with Sarada in the manga? Nothing. I honestly think they forgot she even had the fucking Sharingan in the manga, because when she was fighting against Al, she never used it. She never used the Sharingan. Not once during that fight. Not once in the Mujina Bandit stuff. Not once with Kashi and Koji. It would not surprise me if Ikimoto forgot to draw the fucking Sharingan on her. Now, if the anime decides to not have her use it, sure thing. But I don't recall Sarada ever using her Sharingan in the manga until she showed the 3 Tomoe. And the only reason why I gets a pass is because of what happened in the light novel done by the same guy that wrote, I think it's Jun Isekai, I forgot the last name, I'm gonna butcher it. He wrote the Retsuden trilogy. So I said to say, Sarada's best development's been under Kishimoto. You could argue the bit of training that she got in the car actuation arc is arguably her best development arc that you've had so far, but that's a debate. So no, I'm not worried, to be honest with you, because it can't be any worse than what we've already gotten from her in the manga.